So tell us about your time working at the Bolling Theater in Norton.
Well, I was about 14 years old, I guess, when I started working as an usher, and I didn't work as an usher long, but it was a real nice theater. My dad built the theater. He wanted it not for going business himself, but he wanted the town to have a good theater and something nice. And it was. There was nothing west of Roanoke that would touch it. Had a great big stage, because back in those days they used to have a lot of stage shows, traveling stage shows. It had an orchestra pit, and
Approximately what year was it built?
I'd say we would probably be around 33, 34, something like that. Could have been around 30, could have been anywhere from 33 to 35. I'm sure it took a while to build it.
Didn't you have the seats shipped in from up north?
Yeah, the seats were bought from up north, yeah, but back then you could buy seats, of course. When he built the Quentinwood Theater, uh, everything was in war production. You couldn't buy any theater seats. And they were tearing down the 42nd Street Theater in New York City to build an addition to the New York Times. And this Jewish fellow up there, he had bought all the seats. And my dad bought all the seats off the main floor from the man that had them. And they were very plush seats. Had a place underneath, put your top hat and all that stuff. And they were real nice seats. That's the ones we put in the Clintwood Theater.
How many years was that the Norton Theater or the Bolling Theater open?
Oh God, long time. I don't know what year it was my dad sold it. But at one time he had a theater in Appalachia, and he had a theater in of course Norton, and a theater in Coburn, and a theater in Clintwood, and a theater in Pound. And
Now, did these theaters have sound or were they silent movies?
no, they came in it was built about the time when the sound came out, because I've only seen back then when in a theater one or two silent movies, but it was at that time. It was about the time that the sound movies came out, and really got going. Was the first Technicolor movie made was the picture of Trailer of the Lonesome Pine, and Fred McMurray played in it, and so it was a story of the area of Big Stone Gap and the time that the coal was getting to be developed. They found a little bit of iron ore, and so at that time it was growing time for those people in those mountains. And of course, the people who owned the land didn't know much about what they had or anything. And so the politicians, they always do this. They're people who were good, they passed laws that people could buy the mineral rights without buying the land. And these companies, people out in Pennsylvania and New York and all over the country, some of them came in and bought huge tracts of land, mineral rights on land. And they got those mineral rights for about 50 cents an acre or something. So a lot of times those people thought they were getting something, 50 cents an acre they thought it was like getting free candy or something, I guess. But it all turned out against them in the long run.
Did you all still own the theater during the war?
Let's see. Yeah.
Did that play a big part in all the news coming in?
Well, yeah, you had the newsreels in those days, and you had the Saturday movies. And Saturday was a big day in mining camps. And everybody, all the miners, all the area around there had a lot of mining camps. And took a lot of people to mine coal in those days. And on Saturday, well, it would cost 10 cents for children to go to the movie and a quarter for adults. And they'd put the kids in the movie and then leave them there all day long. So while they were out doing something else, actually the theater ended up as babysitting for them, I guess.
Well, do you remember what y'all did with the movies after they were done? Were they shipped back to the companies or destroyed? What did y'all do with the reels or the film after you were done showing the movie?
When the reels traveled in those days, you didn't have, in other words, you might have a movie that you were going to show in maybe a theater down in another town that had shown that movie, and they would transport that film up to you. Then you'd show it, then you'd ship it back out to either another theater or maybe back to the people who were handling it.
So I guess back then they didn't have release dates where this movie came out in all theaters on one specific day like they do now.
No. It's like when they first came out with these big time movies, religious movies. One of the first was The Robe, and we showed The Robe, and nobody else was supposed to be able to show it within a 50-mile radius for a year or more.
How long would a movie generally stay? A couple weeks, a few days, a month?
A movie like The Robe, yeah, you had to show it sometimes a week, sometimes two, for the big time movies. But usually that was bad for you, because the same amount of people would have seen it in a couple of days, I guess. And you spread it out, spread your expense out more, and so.
How many screens did it have? Did y'all just have one screen or two screens?
One screen.
Was it open every day, or was it only open like toward the weekend?
No, it was open every day.
Was it generally after like 5 o'clock, or was it kind of throughout the day?
Well, I don't remember exactly except Saturday. Saturday opened, I know pretty early. I don't remember exactly all the times on them, but I do know that they had some of the towns didn't have Sunday movies. Now, most of them didn't have. Finally, they got to where they could have a movie on Sunday.
Did you all let people bring food in, or did they have to buy it there?
Well, like I said, my dad first year built the theater. He didn't build it to operate it. He didn't operate it. He had it leased out to another man. And at that time, they didn't sell any popcorn and candy, and they didn't allow any to be brought into the theater. Later on, you got to the point that your money was in popcorn and candy and drinks, and you were showing the movies. You're lucky to break even on the movies.
Would people generally get dressed up? Was it like a big ordeal to go, or is it just kind of more of an everyday?
Yeah, come on, everyday clothes you get back home. But
anything else off the top of your head? Anything stands out about the theater?
what?
Anything stand out in your head about the theater? Any stories or anything?
Well, we used to have a lot of people, especially different types of stars, cowboy stars and things like that would come by. And then we had some that, of course, had orchestras and dancing gals and everything. And the theater was about a 750 seat house with a balcony. Beautiful building. Sound was good in it. And we later put air conditioning in it, which we didn't have at first.
It's time that many believe Orland himself became a member.
Sorry, TV kicked on. All right, we'll pause that one.